So as promised, I'm going to go ahead and make a video over a couple of the questions that I feel like we struggled with the most today in class. So let's look at number 2. So number 2 says y minus 14 equals to 9. So that's basically telling me or asking me what number minus 14 will give me 9. So I'm going to look at what is keeping my y from being isolated. So that one number that I have that is keeping me from having my y by itself. So I have a minus 14. So because I'm subtracting 14, I want to do the opposite, which is an inverse operation, and add 14. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. So that goes away because negative 14 and a positive 14, that gives me y. And 9 plus 14, that gives me 23. So my answer is y equals to 23. And then I'm going to go ahead and check it just to make sure. Is it true that 23 minus 14 equals to 9? Well, yeah, 9 equals to 9. Yeah, that works out. So that's correct. So I'm going to check my own work, so I don't have to wait until tomorrow when we grade it. I already know it's correct. Okay, so number 3, I have 5m equals to 105. I see a 5 next to an m. I don't see a plus sign. I don't see a minus sign. And if you go back up here, it looks exactly like this, which tells me I'm doing multiplication. So I have 5 times m is equal to 105. So that means what number times m equals to 105. So I'm going to go ahead, isolate my m, divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5, that gives me 1, so that goes away, and I'm left with m. 105 divided by 5, you guys can check your planners. You guys can do it the long way. So 105, I know is 21. Okay, so m equals to 21. I'm going to check it just to make sure. 21 times 5, is that equal to 105? Yeah, that's true. So that's correct. Okay. And those, I think I saw you guys were doing okay on. It was when I got over here to number 7. So let's look at number 7. Okay, so I have 90 equals to negative 3x. Okay, and again, when I have a number next to a variable, which is a letter, that means I'm multiplying. Even though it has that negative in front of it, that does not mean minus 3. The fact that they're next to each other means that I'm multiplying them. So if I have negative 3 times x, well, I want to do the opposite of multiplication. So I'm going to divide it by negative 3. Divide it by negative 3. That cancels out, and I have x equals to 90 divided by negative 3. I have a negative and a positive, so my answer is negative. 90 divided by 3 gives me 30. So my answer is x equals to 30. And I can check. Is negative 3 times negative 30 equals to positive 90? Yeah, that makes sense. So that's correct. Always ask yourself that question. It makes it so much easier to check if your answer is right. And you can just check it yourself. You don't have to ask me if it was correct. Let's go to number 9. Okay, so number 9, I have 4 equals to negative 7 plus p. Now this one's also a confusing one because I can see that I have a plus, but I also have a minus 7. Okay, the one that I want to focus on though is that minus 7 because I want to get rid of it. Okay, so if I have a minus 7, the opposite of minus 7 is positive 7, right? If I have a negative 7, the opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. All right, and this cancels out. My goal is to get it to 0. So if I do another negative 7, that's negative 14. The goal is to get whatever it is that's next to my variable to 0. So whatever I got to do, make it 0. So what I'm left is p equals to, do it to both sides, oh, not 4, sorry, 7. 7 plus 4, that gives me 11. So p equals to 11. Does it make sense for negative 7 plus 11 to be 4? Yeah, that makes sense. So my answer is 11. Okay. And another one that I might have seen a lot of you guys having trouble with, I think that was it. I think that covers most of them. The rest of them, you guys can do them by yourselves because they look very similar to what you have. Now let me do number 4 also. Okay. I have 34 plus C equals to 49. So I have 34 plus a number gives me 49, sorry. Okay, so there's no sign in front of it. It's not telling me anything, but I do know it's positive. So since it's a positive 34, I'm going to do the opposite, which is minus 34. Remember, getting it to 0. Minus 34, that cancels out. That's a 0 because 34 minus 34 is 0. I'm left with a C equals to 49 minus 34, and that gives me 15, positive 15, and that's my answer. Go ahead and box that in. You can double check. Is it true that 34 plus 15 is 49? Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I'm correct. All right, and so that is some of your homework problems. There's still a few that you can work on your own. And go ahead and use a calculator. I'm okay if you get a calculator. Double check. Check if that answer makes sense. Does it work out? Yeah, it should work out. If it works out, then your answer is correct. All right, if you guys still have any questions, just let me know. And sorry for not making a video in a while, but I'll see you guys tomorrow.